Hello, good evening, and welcome to the All Things Borough podcast with me, Simon. And just wondering how you're getting on today with the weather. Hope you're all right. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to, if you like the episode, or any of our episodes, in fact, we've been going for this is our fourth season now. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Right, without further ado, I shall bring in my guest this evening. It's Alex Whittle. Hi, Alex. How are you?
Hi mate, how you doing? All good, mate. You?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Nice one. Thanks very much for accepting my invite. I asked three or four people, and they all declined, so I appreciate it. Excellent stuff. Happy to oblige. Yeah, exactly. Good stuff. Hey, coping the weather?
Oh, it's a bit too hot for me at the moment, mate. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Especially down south. North's a bit cooler normally. Down south probably another three to 4 degrees, isn't it? So
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit hot and it's a bit sweaty, but hopefully it settles down soon.
Yeah, obviously people tuning in and listening will obviously tell you're a northern lad.
Yeah, from Liverpool. Yeah, obviously all my family from Liverpool.
That's why you're a Liverpool fan as well, like Tom Lapsley we had on last week. Yeah, perfect.
Happy days. Big fan. Yeah, we had a bad season.
I'm yet to. I've met and spoke to quite a few people from Liverpool, and I've worked up there myself as well. I'm still yet to find anyone who will admit to supporting Southport or Tranmere. Yeah, it's always either Everton or Liverpool. So you know,
you do get Evertonians, yeah, but you don't see. I've not many Tranmere supporters in Liverpool anyway. No.
No, that's true. It's more out of town, that place, and Southport's even further, isn't it? So yeah, I reckon there's more than they let on. To be fair, I reckon there's a few that are around that just don't want to admit it. Like Everton's fans are probably quite quiet for the last few years, I think.
Yeah, they haven't done well for a while, have they? They haven't done well for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah, good stuff. So I take it that's that was your upbringing, Liverpool way, and you came from that area, and your childhood up in Liverpool.
Yeah, obviously, all my family from Aintree, close to the racecourse. And I started at Liverpool from when I was like 6, 7. Went all the way through to a scholarship. To be fair, at the time I was flying. I was with England and stuff, and then it was just a big change of management. We got like Spanish coming under Benitez and stuff, and he wanted to bring his own players in, and obviously I had a thing off. Obviously, my dad passed away at an early age, kind of thing back then. So obviously, if you look back, maybe all that kind of rolls into one kind of thing. But I had 10, well, I'd say 9 really good years there. Obviously, they help you as a person, help you as a player, kind of stuff. But obviously, the last year I didn't really enjoy. Obviously, I kind of got a little bit fizzled out, but that happens when you're at a big club. There's always competition from everywhere, all over like the universe. You know what I mean? It's and whatnot. But after that, it's just obviously trying to create a pathway, obviously to get a route to professional football, kind of thing. And then obviously went to Scotland when I was 19. And I had 3 amazing years up there. That I think that kind of molded me into a better player and a better person all around. I think that in football, obviously, you move around a lot. And me up there, I had a couple of good lads up there who I lived with, Carl Morrison, Josh Falkingham. I actually went to his wedding a month ago. So we stayed in touch for like 13 years.
That's great, yeah.
And we're still very mates. And they helped me. They were a bit older. They helped me. I was a bit younger. I was a bit cheeky. I was a bit chirpy. Do you know what I mean? Scouts, obviously. And they were really good with me. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, everything happened to a reason. I firmly believe that. And they were really good around me, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's nice when you have contact. I think sometimes when you to start with, I'll break down what you said because you said a lot of information there, so I'll break it down a bit. Obviously, first things first, you obviously at Liverpool, it's always really hard to break into a real top team because I painfully have to say I'm a Chelsea fan, but it's hard to get in to a Premier League team, isn't it? Really, it's really difficult. Like you say, you're taking on the world, aren't you? It's not just your area or your local area. You're taking on everybody, and also they're looking for transfer policies, probably abroad as well as at home. So it's very hard, isn't it, to get in? And then but then you obviously moved up to Scotland and had 3 really good years there, and you've picked up sort of lots of contacts and made sort of lifelong friends as well. So I can see what you mean when you say it's it might have been a blessing in disguise for you as certainly as a person anyway, and certainly in your own sort of off the field life. you've probably thought about it and think, actually, do you know what, couldn't have happened to, couldn't probably the best thing to happen to me, really.
Yeah, definitely. I think that you obviously listening, you get to do stuff like on your own kind of thing. Obviously, you're used to your mum and your family obviously doing everything for you. You go away and you learn new things. You learn how to cook, clean, and whatnot. And it's a bit sad, really, because obviously when you leave a club, you got to realise you're with these lads every day, quite a lot. And I've realised over the years, you'd probably only stay in touch with probably 3 of them, three from a team. And it's a bit sad. Sometimes you travel with these lads and you're with them every day and you experience these stuff, the highs and the lows and whatnot. And like as I said, that lad Josh Folkingham, we've actually stayed close for 15 years. So it's obviously like a nice thing, a nice gesture. Do you know what I mean?
It's part and parcel of life, isn't it? When you grow up, don't you? Because I know all my mates have sort of moved further afield. People move away, don't they? And they get families and kids, and you tend people drift apart, don't they? Just generally in life, don't they? But it's nice that you've. I think you always have maybe 3 or 4 people that you stay in touch with and stay close with, just get out of that relationship with, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like you're not going to speak every day, but I think it's obviously if you need advice or you like certain things, like that you might only check in once every 2 weeks, but that if they're there when you need it, or you've gone through the highs and lows together, and obviously you've got that bond then to obviously always have that connection and whatnot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's really good. Yeah, it's really good. You were at Dunfermline Athletic, weren't you, up there? Was that Premier League? Was it first division?
They were one below at the time. One
Yeah.
below. They just got relegated, but
Mm.
really nice stadium, really good fan base, and it was a town, so everyone loved the club in that town, and everything's about the football. Everything's football. Do you know what I mean? So you do get that pressure of obviously needing to do well. Obviously, like we were young lads, we wanted to go out all the time. Do you know what I mean? Back then we were 19, 20, 21. But obviously it's like if you get beat, you're like can't really go out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Because you're up there on your own and you're not from there, you think, I want to go out. Do you know what I mean? So there's kind of that fine balance. But there was one season where Rangers obviously went into administration and they were in our league, and excuse me language, but we kind of like we were kind of pissing the league kind of thing in a way, not pissing it, but Rangers end up just cruising it. Do you know what I mean? But if they weren't there, they've obviously won the league fairly easily. But even like that, then when you play Rangers, it's like humongous club. Do you know what I mean? It's like I was 20 and obviously we're going to Ibrox and you're playing in front of 40 odd thousand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, proper stadium as well, and it really nice.
Yeah, big club. Like that was the first time I thought, wow. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, in the dugout and that, the first time I was like a bit nervous. Do you know what I mean? I thought this is proper. But I think up there, obviously, that did help me in a lot of aspects in life, on and off the field. Do you know what I mean? Definitely.
Yeah, well, it's definitely good to get out of home, isn't it, and look after yourself and learn, and when you stand on your own 2 feet, can't you? And I think it certainly gives that good big life experience. So you had 3 years up there. What happened there? Did you get fed up there, or did you just get a transfer somewhere else, or did you out of contract and then came back down south? I take it.
I had. To be fair, you don't like. I had a 3-year contract, which is a bit unheard of at them levels.
Yeah, that's good going. That yeah.
And then in my second year, they offered me another year, so that means I would have had so I would have been there 4 years. And to be honest, I was just trying to get like a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, as you do. And the manager was Jim Jeffries. He was really experienced manager. He done really well up there, well respected.
Yeah, well known. Yeah.
Well known. And I just wanted to get a little bit more. And he was basically like, Wits, obviously, like, if you don't sign this contract in 3 days' time, it's gone. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, no chance. I'm thinking I'm like young, chirpy 20-year-old, 21-year-old or whatever. I'm saying to my agent, don't worry about it. And he literally pulled the deal.
Oh, no.
I had another year on my contract, though. It was one of them. It was in my second year. And then the third year, as a whole, the club, we didn't exceed expectations. And it got to the end of the season, and then he wants the fresh start kind of thing. But I actually would have stayed another year. I would have, and I still like the kind of group that I was close to. I would have been happy to stay another year. and then obviously they didn't renew my contract, and I come back down obviously north. But I think that the thing that was the problem back then was like Scottish football. I think the social media and the platforms nowadays, everyone knows about Scottish football, Irish football, the Welsh League and stuff a lot more now. Back then it was like, don't get me wrong, I played 100 games up there at a young age, but I come down and they were kind of like, well, they didn't know too much about it. Do you know what I mean? So I found myself kind of going on trial at places. So I was going to like League Two clubs, and I ended up going to Hartlepool, and I done really, really well there under Ronnie Moore. And I thought I was getting signed, and then it was one of them last minute. I didn't receive the offer, and then I ended up dropping down to Conference North, went to Fylde, done quite well, and went to Southport. Enjoyed that, but I was literally there for 2 months, and then I signed for York, which obviously is York, like good club, big club base. Yeah, and it started to kick back on again. I think you find that.
I suppose you were. I've got to think. I know you've had a lot of clubs, and some really big clubs actually as well. And you've played under some fantastic managers as well. But you've only mentioned 2 or 3 there. I mean, Ronnie Moore, Jim Jeffries. I mean, wow, they're very well known, established managers. But so it must have been a real sort of kick in the teeth for you to have a possibility, going from having a possibility of an extra year's contract, so another 2 years at Dunfermline, a place that you grew to love and played a lot of games for, to then suddenly going on trial to places and then not getting offered something. That's a real kick in the teeth, especially for someone who was probably only 21, 22 at the time. Yeah,
I think that was, again, it's another setback. I'm thinking I've half proved myself. I've played a lot of games. I could have stayed up there in Scotland, but the offers wasn't really what I needed. They wasn't right at the time, so I thought, let me go back down south, hopefully prove myself. And I was thinking, the agent at the time and whatnot, I wasn't getting what's the right word? I wasn't getting the help I needed. Do you know what I mean? I thought I was getting a little bit let down. Don't get me wrong, it is down to the player, but obviously a lot of time it is what you know, who you know, and getting yourself your foot in the door. And it was a massive kick in the teeth. It was. And obviously come back down. I'm thinking I'm trialing now. I've just gone 3, as you said, I've gone 3 years up there. I've done well, and I'm coming back down. I'm thinking, like, I've got to restart again now in England. Do you know what I mean? I was like, as you said, it was a kick in the teeth, and I'm thinking I've got to go. I've got to then go again now.
So you think I mentioned that is because you've played 100 games. You've got established yourself really as a professional footballer, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like having to prove yourself again. It's and I find that a lot with football generally, isn't it? Because especially at the sort of at the level Farnham are, it's kind of like you ever get sort of 6-month, 1-year deals, and then every sort of summer you're having to put yourself on show again and try and earn another contract. And I find that it's very hard, isn't it? It's a revolving door. It's very very swift.
Yeah, I think that's what people in general don't realise outside of football. Like, obviously we're lower down. Obviously, you're probably not going to get more than a 2-year contract. And there's that many players who want a contract at a club. Do you know what I mean? Farnham Far Time. It's a decent club, and it's in a nice area. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's an attractive option for the thingy. Spencer the Gaffer's probably got hundreds of players thrown at him left, right, and centre. And I think it's getting harder now. I think obviously because the platform and social media and stuff, I think you're getting a lot more like reserve players at big clubs, under 23 players at big clubs, and they're realising now that like there's non-league getting better, National League, North South. There's good players in the league, and they realising now is lads are getting moves now, and there's a lot more attention, there's a lot more social media, and I just think it's the pool of players is just getting a lot harder. For example, I'm a left back at trade. Spencer was probably getting 15 players offered to him at left back. Do you know what I mean?
You're sort of what we're saying. You're sort of at the sort of the twilight end of your career, shall we say now? But we've had it goes. Our transfer policy this summer seems to be very different to what it was the previous 2 summers, because we've had a lot of younger players coming through and playing, and get on some on loan from like Charlton, Reading, places like that, Peterborough. We've had some players like that. But there's a lot of those players that sort of leaving academies and trying to then get out. So you're competing against them, as well as having the established players sort of maybe coming down like you, maybe dropping levels, for example. you've got them to kind of compete with, as well as all the younger players coming out of academies as well that have probably got the kind of like an idea of saying I'll play here for maybe 6 months to a year and then get myself back into
Yeah.
league football. So yeah, like you say, it's very competitive, isn't it?
And I think the thing is nowadays, as well as I think, is when you used to be 30 back in the day, it used to be like, oh my god, he's done. Whereas with the way the game's developed now and whatnot, if you look after yourself and the sports science side of it, you've got like Messi and all Messi and Ronaldo, the different, but they're playing till the late 30s, 40s. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think nowadays it's like you early 30s, you get your most experience. Do you know what I mean? You know the game more and knowledge. I think the game's developing and lads are playing a lot longer now. So I think you've even got the lads now who are mid 30s and stuff, and then you've got the younger crop of players coming through. So there's that many players now. I just think it's just getting a lot harder. Where it used to be like, oh, 30, you're done, and no one really used to know like young players coming through. Whereas it's just there's that much players in abundance now. It is
I
a
think
tough
you
game.
used to have a lot of sort of former league players who sort of get, as you say, get to like 30, 31, and they'd sort of go and play part time, wouldn't they? And then they sort of see out the rest of their careers. But nowadays, it's like, I mean, our league, for example, is such a competitive league. I mean, last season's sort of league table was ridiculous. It was really tight, with the top sort of 7 or 8 teams all fighting it out to try and win the league. And you got, and also it's the money that's being invested. I'm going to use the word invested. Not, I was going to use thrown away, but invested. Is in yeah. In our league, and also the North as well, to try and get into the National League and then into the Football League, it's really, really competitive. I mean, and also with that you've got teams from Step 3 who are also throwing a lot of money at it, like Billericay and Farnham, for example, in coming into our league this season, who have invested a lot of money in a playing squad, and they're investing also off the pitch as well as on it. So yeah, there's a lot of investment in the non-league area. I mean, I don't like calling it non-league anymore because it isn't really. It's kind of like a lot of these clubs are full-time hybrid sort of clubs now. And when we're being Farnborough being a part-time one, we're sort of we're one of very few teams at Step 2 now that are sort of part-time. But yeah, how are you? Well, I was going to say, we had a little chat off air, didn't we, about being part-time, and we're at the moment, you're not really part-time, are you? We're pretty much full-time at the moment, which for you is quite nice, I should imagine. How are you? I was going to ask you, how are you coping with the transition from sort of a full-time to a part-time model?
Obviously, like I haven't been obviously part-time for a long time, but it was one of them in the summer. I had a kind of decision to make. It was like I knew I was leaving like Yeovil, and I half left on a sour note. The way personally they treated me towards the end of my deal was I wasn't happy with, to be honest. Obviously, like I had, long story short, me and my missus were kind of going through a break kind of thing, and I'd been there for 3 years. We got promoted. I'd done a good job for the club. I'd been one of the better players. I played over 100 games for the club, and I had an honest conversation with the club and the manager, and I said, listen, it's not about next season, it's about the here and now. It's about, at the time, we wasn't doing that well. We were fluttering above the relegation zone, but we still had the FA Trophy as well, that we were doing quite well in. So I was like, they were like, what do you think, you need to go home and stuff? And I was like, well, I've been based down south for years now. I was like, I just need the club to maybe support me, maybe help me out with accommodation and this and that. And I'll do my best for the club, which I always done. And brutally honest, they weren't willing to help. Do you know what I mean? So they put me in limbo, and I thought, to be honest, I thought it was disgraceful. A lad who'd been at the club for 3 years, got promoted, done well for the club. I always got on with the fans. The fans liked me, and when I played, I always done a good job for the club and obviously and whatnot. And for them to say no to me, and the funny thing is they were getting loan lads and putting them up in accommodation or hotel, and I was only asking for the gesture. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And from that moment, I thought, obviously, like, my time at the club's going to come to an end. And then obviously in the summer, there was offers and there was interest, full time, part time. But what I liked about Farnborough is the gaffer Spencer. He was just straight up honest with me. There was obviously an offer there, and he's like, "This is what we can do," and this, and he's just straight to the point, and that's what I liked, old school, and and whatnot. Whereas some of these other managers are like, and ah, and we like you. There's interest. There's an offer there, and
Yeah.
and
Kind of like that, yeah, kind of like you said, limbo. You kind of like left with sort of half a contract, haven't
yeah,
you? Not a proper one. You know what I mean?
yeah. And me and Spencer, we spoke on the phone for 40 minutes, I think, the first time. And I just liked the way he spoke, and a lot of it was the honesty. You know what I mean? And that's what I liked. There was a couple of full-time offers, and if I was maybe 23 and not 33, then it might have been a bit different. But I just didn't think it was right for me right now to do that. And then obviously that's why I decided to sign for Farnham, and also they were obviously they signed some good players, so I'm hoping we can do well and obviously aim for the playoffs.
Yeah, we've signed a lot of players like yourself. We're kind of like sort of we not well. Like I said, our transfer policy has been sort of more sort of younger players, younger sort of maybe ones from academies haven't really had much first team football. I think this summer we've gone completely full circle almost, and we've ended up we're buying people like Tom Lapsley, yourself, Ryan Jackson. Players like that who have got and Max Eimer at the back as well. We've got real experience. You know what I mean? And these are league experience as well, like yourself. So yeah, it's I think a lot of fans were open their eyes and said, "Wow, this could be really good." You know what I mean? You go one or two ways. It'll either work out really well, be absolutely terrible, won't it? So I'm just going back to your time at Yeovil. Obviously, it's always sad when you leave somewhere where you've been a long time and you feel you've been let down by them. Really, did that come from? I know there's been a lot of issues with the ownership there over the last couple of years, and that maybe do you think that maybe played into it a little bit, or do you think they just sort of saw you being in the last year of your contract and just sort of discarded you almost? Do you feel it was more like
that? Well, obviously the first 18 months were unbelievable. To be fair, obviously Mark Cooper come in, who I know quite well, and Charlie's a good mate of mine, his son, and he signed the right players, the right characters. The first season was unbelievable on and off the field. And in the end of the Conference South season, obviously we won it quite easy. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. You played against us, didn't you? Down at
Scored, yeah, I scored.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
scored. I done my hamstrings towards the end of the season, but it was just a fully enjoyable season. And then the second season we started fairly well, and then we made too many changes. There was a lot of changes with players and stuff. And then that summer, we changed owners again, and we ended up having 4 managers that season. So sometimes we had 7 loans, and you only can have 5 loans playing for a start. We had 30 odd players, and then the back end of the season, there was only me and the captain, Jake Wonnell, who I'm good mates with. He's a good lad. That we were the only lads left from the 3 years from the start. And don't get me wrong, there's always going to be changes, but I find that quite sad. Do you know what I mean? Like 2 players from 3 years ago, it's crazy in my eyes. And
there's no continuity at all, is there? You keep changing like that all the time. And we unfortunately we've had the same thing at Farm, but we were very lucky three years ago where we retained sort of 7, 8, 9 players, which was really good, and we had a really good season on the back of it. And his continuity was there, and it was great. And unfortunately, all of those players have sort of moved on, and sort of the last sort of remaining one's probably Robbo now. He's been at the club. I think they'll have to drag him out with the furniture. I think if he's ever going to leave, to be fair. But
that's a good lad. To
yeah,
be fair.
yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a great guy, and he loves the club as well, and all that, which is great. And but we had people like we had Ricky Holmes, and he had Reggie Young, and Jack Turner in goal, and he had all of those guys, and they were a really good side, and you'd sort of bringing players in around them and build you had your sort of your core middle and your core players in there. But yeah, I always think it might work for 6 months to 1 season, maybe, to chopping and changing a lot. But I think eventually you end up going backwards, not forwards, don't you, if you keep doing that?
Yeah, you need players there for like at least a couple of seasons to build on and off the field. But that one there, that season, it was like we had 4 managers. So obviously we had Mark Cooper, who obviously done well there. And obviously like had all the lads together. Then his assistant got it. And then we had Danny Webb, who I was at Chesterfield with. And to be fair, I know Webby quite well, and I was buzzing. I was like, oh my God, like delighted. And he left after a week. So when I'm thinking, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, what's going on? Do you know what I mean?
But bear in mind, you obviously you know him very well. Did you speak to him before he left, or it was just all completely sudden, or he just
Yeah, I spoke
what
to him.
happened there?
He didn't want to say too much, but I think it was, I don't know, it seemed to be maybe false promises. Maybe he thought he could have, I don't know, maybe a bit more power and a budget maybe. And when he's come today, but it's a bit too soon. It's a bit too much to sort. But I know really well from Chesterfield. Obviously, we both done well together.
Yeah.
And in him were like close. And so that was just another kick in the teeth when he left. I was like, oh, like I'm thinking, rebuild and go again. Obviously, and I could spend another couple of years here, kind of thing. Then when he left, I was thinking, oh, like what now? And then obviously we bought in the gaffer from Walton Hersham, and he obviously, and to be fair to him, he had his own ideas in terms of, I like to play football, like I like to get the ball down and play, and he had good ideas, but there's just a whole different concept of, there's different ways to play, and he wants to bring his own players in, and he's obviously come from lower, and like maybe he doesn't like experienced pros and stuff. That's the type of thing I didn't like, and he didn't really know how to hold a conversation with a experienced pro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ideas and his coaching were decent, like decent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, especially sort of Premier League wise. I mean, there's a lot of chopping and changing with what I'm going to ask you, but on the back of that is, how was it for you as a player having that much change going? Obviously not good, but how was it for a player sort of going from, obviously all these different managers have got their own, as you say, their own ideas, their own different styles of playing. You find yourself sort of don't know where you're coming or going type thing, and also on the back of that, you find younger managers coming up through the I was going to say through the ranks, but it's not the right expression really. It's more sort of coming from the lower league maybe, and they've done well for a couple of years at a certain club, and then they get a big move to a bigger club, and like you say, it's like a lot of younger people these days. They don't actually know how to have a conversation with you, do they? They might have really good sort of ideas and structure about the actual football they play, but it's the off the field stuff they kind of don't get. You know what I mean?
I think that's what I think that's the problem is nowadays. I think people are forgetting, like, off the field stuff and the characters and the managing players. That's still a massive part of the game, especially lower down. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Together, fighting for each other, the manager.
Yeah, like I said, with the issue you had at Yeovil, you had a sort of a breakup, and you wanted a bit of help, and you got nothing from him, which is poor, isn't it? Really.
I couldn't believe. I actually couldn't believe, and it did hurt me because I was kind of left in limbo, kind of thing. I'm not from around here, obviously from Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? And I was just wanting a little arm around me, like, listen, we'll help you out, blah blah blah, and it just wasn't there. And obviously, like, the lads who were still there, they couldn't believe it. And then you're signing loan lads and giving them accommodation. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, I've been here 3 years, I've done well for the club, and just a little bit of help. Do you know what I mean? And that was the most hurtful part. And then I think, looking back now, that's a sour note on something that was good for so long. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. You just wanted a bit of help, and the club sort of let you down a little bit in that respect. And especially as you're different if you'd only been there for a couple of weeks and you were sort of said, "Oh, I need this, need that." And you think, well, no, but you've been there for a long time, and you're giving your heart and soul, really, haven't you? And you put yourself on the line week in, week out for him, and you didn't get anything back. Yeah, it's very sad. What I was also asked you there was about the sort of the four managers in the season thing. How was that for a player? Because it obviously happens a lot in Premier League. Well, I say a lot. It happens more often than it should in Premier League teams, where you get sort of managers coming and going, and then it doesn't work. Like probably Nottingham Forest is probably a good example last season, and Ange Postecoglou being in for 39 days, and then someone else coming in. How was that for you, for a player from your experience? How was that for you? Is it very difficult, or is it kind of like, oh well, just I didn't like him anyway, so I'm glad he's gone, or that sort of something? Or how'd you cope with it as a player?
I think obviously if the first manager leave, and then you might, like, some lads are like buzzing kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously the new manager comes in, but obviously the first manager, obviously I like obviously Coops and whatnot. But when you get to 3-4 managers, we were like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And then new managers come in, new ideas come in, new players, and everyone's just getting caught up in a situation of what we're actually doing here. Like, because we're used to playing this way under the first manager, then this second manager saying this, and then he's saying that. I don't like to name names, but there was one time under the management where we done a training session on the pitch, and we had the manager and the assistant manager, and they were both coming ahead because he thought one thing and he thought another thing. So how do you think we feel? So he was saying we should approach the game this way, and the assistant was saying we should approach the game that way, and we're standing there like, so what are we doing then? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're arguing as we're obviously doing a training game. So if they don't know what they're doing together, then how are we meant to know what we're doing together? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, you always get the impression, don't you, well, on TV? You know, you always get the kind of the manager and assistant. They're always sort of, you know, they're like glue. You know what I mean? They sing off the same hymn sheet all the time, and that's done deliberately because they obviously don't want that conflict and don't want you need a clear message, don't you, when you're a player? You know, because I always say football's very is a very simple game, but sometimes people try and make it overcomplicated, and that's one of the complications, isn't it? Sometimes when you have conflicting ideas coming at you, and you kind of like you're stuck in limbo, aren't you? You don't know where you're going or coming or going, do you?
Exactly that. We had this one manager saying he wanted to do this, and then this assistant saying he wanted to do that. But then obviously because we were chopping and changing players all the time, new management, and then we were getting dragged in lower and lower. It was like we just need to stay up here. Like we stayed up comfortable in the end. Don't get me wrong, but it was like because we didn't have a squad that was there from the start and that many changes, we just couldn't get any team chemistry and bonding going. Do you know what I mean? And it was hard. In the end, it was just like lads were just obviously bowling in, training and getting off, and it was just no
just
whatever.
And just nothing. Nothing, is it? Just, you know, you're doing you're literally just playing football, aren't you? And that's it. You know, training and just doing that and going home. Nothing else.
You should be enjoying it. You should want to be there a bit longer, and it just ended up being like, oh, I can't wait for this to finish. So it was literally like that. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously it was kind of getting a bit divided. You'd have like 5 lone lads. You get the lads who've been here before. You get the new lads, and then the staff who had their players maybe for next season. Do you know what I mean? And ultimately, we were just trying to stay up or do well in the FA Trophy. Do you know what I mean? It was tough. But as I said, it was the first 18 months really good. And all the changes and that. It was a sour ending, but I think that kind of when you look back, you're hoping that'll make you a stronger person in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you've got a good attitude, Alex. Really, for everything you've gone through. I mean, you've gone through a fair bit in your time as a player. You have lots of highs and lots of lows, as a lot of footballers would do at your age. To be fair, but you've coped with it well by the sounds of it, and you looking at it from trying to find a positive from most things, which is quite a good thing to do. Really, I think it's most times you've just got to try and look at the positive and move on and hope. And I hope it doesn't happen again, don't you? What I was going to ask you also, something that cropped up in my mind was. Obviously, you're 33 now. You've been playing. You've had a good career so up to now as well. Hopefully, it will continue that way for us for more than one season, I hope. But how have you noticed the difference in the way the game's played? And I'm talking about the tactical side of things. Is the game sort of more tactical now, or is it more sort of, or is it still? I'm assuming when you were younger, you just sort of sometimes you just get on the pitch and say just go and play. You know, as a left back, just go and play, do your defensive work, and try and get forward, get the crosses over. That thing, or has it gone from that to being very tactical and making lots of stuff on the whiteboard and say picking up players and doing this, doing that? Is it how has things evolved since sort of Pep Guardiola came to England basically?
No, it's definitely evolved. It's definitely developed. I think even nowadays, you see your fullbacks rolling inside to be like half a centimetre at times. Sometimes, for example, but it's a lot of it is analysts now. Do you know what I mean? It's like obviously you're watching a lot of clips, and it's a lot more structure now. It's a lot more like, for example, when I was at Yeovil the first year, obviously the gaffer Mark Cooper, he'd like a back 4, but I was kind of more like in a back 3, narrow, and obviously want to push on and stuff. I like to get forward and stuff, but I mean, a lot of it's now staying in slot, staying in structure, and it's a lot of mannequins obviously on the boards and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? I do think again as well, it is a running game nowadays as well. I think it's even you can be a top technical player, but if you don't run, like I see it nowadays, I don't think if you don't run, you won't play. Do you know what I mean? I see that a lot now.
Yeah, it's all about stuff off the ball, isn't it? And working hard and getting yourself if you lose the ball, for example, getting yourself back into shape all the time, isn't it? And making sure you're sort of compact is the word a lot of people like to use, don't they?
I think a lot of it's not even as you said, obviously it's running, but I think a lot of it's now is binning your position. Like as you said, if you were playing centre mid and you try the passing out of position, it's maybe just sprint back to get into that central zone. Do you know what I mean? But a lot of these managers nowadays, they're doing all these fancy words and like pivots, reverse pivots, final zone entries, and that. I think, don't get me wrong, I half like it because it's like it's clever, but a lot of it's just words, isn't it? Like someone can shoot from 30 yards out, blaze it over, and they're saying it's a 0.2 xg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How's that 0.2 xg?
I still don't understand it, actually, to me. I don't know how they get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
You put a corner in, the keeper catches it. It's like shot on target.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping on some of my bets, to be fair. Some of those, to be fair.
Yeah. It's like, if that's what I'm saying, these younger managers and obviously the tactics and stuff and what you hear, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think a lot of it, like, you can talk the talk, do you know what I mean? But ultimately, you got to realise it's a results-based business. Do you know what I mean? You can say all this fancy stuff and say reverse pivots and roll out to this position and stuff. And I agree, I'm all for it. But at the end of the day, it's like you want to win 2-0, 3-0. If you get beat doing all this, play really well, and you get beat, there's only so long you can do that for. Do you know what I mean? Like you can play like, excuse me language, you can play shy for 5 games, but you win every game, or you do all this stuff and you're losing. So what's obviously you're winning games. Do you know what I mean?
I think probably the best example I can think of off the cup is probably Russell Martin at Southampton, isn't it? He was playing out from the back, and all that looked all pretty and stuff, but they just kept losing because they kept messing it up. So and he lost his job, didn't he, at the end of the day, and then they got relegated because of it, really. So it's just like, it's probably the best example of it, and all this playing out from the back stuff. I mean, whilst it might look nice, and when it works, it might look good, but I really don't. I see a lot of it at the World Cup, to be fair, and there's been some horrendous mess ups as well, to be fair, as there would be. But sometimes I think to myself, I don't see where's the end goal of it? What's the actual point of it? You know what I mean? That's what people I see, kind of like forget. They're getting sort of diluted in all the sort of the words, or it might sound lovely, but what's the actual end? What's the end result? What do you want to achieve out of it? And I know it's all about sort of sucking the opposition team out so you can then get in behind and stuff like that. But other managers are too clever for that. They're kind of like they'll press with 3 or 4, and then the other 6 will just stay back, won't they? So they nullify it that way.
Like I'm a Liverpool supporter, but I used to just love it under Klopp because he would try and play out, but it was always front foot, attacking football, energy. But he had a structure as well. Do you know what I mean? It was 2 centimeters of sit or whatever. Go and let Salah, Diaz, Nunes or whoever. Do you know what I mean? Just go and do your stuff. And Liverpool fans loved him because it was always exciting. It was always good football, and obviously he's a character, isn't he? He's obviously Klopp's a big character. Do you know what I mean? So
he is, isn't he? Do you think he's going to get the German job?
That's what they're saying, aren't they? I think the writing's on the wall, and it makes sense because he's been at the World Cup anyway, hasn't he? Doing all the commentary and stuff. So
yeah,
but I loved him when he's a manager that can make you play. I think he can make you play a million times better, and he fall in love with football again because he's just so positive. His energy and from the scene, if you don't know everything, but everyone just seems to like him. He seems a likable person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's brilliant. I mean, look, you've just got to take Mo Salah, haven't you? I mean, his drop off's been mad, hasn't it, since Klopp left? Really, I mean, Slot got sort of away with it for the first season, but that was really Klopp's team. And then look what's happened since. It's and Salah's sort of he's obviously 2 years older than he was when Klopp left, but his drop off's been mad, really, the way it's gone. But I think he get the national job. I mean, it's like Klopp's a bit like Thomas Tuchel as well. He's another one who everyone seems to like. Good sense of humour, off the pitch, good with you. Put your arm around you when you need it. Give you a bollocking when you don't. When you're not playing well. But he said they seem to get it right. You know what I mean? Each time, you know what I mean? Which is that's a skill in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, it's right. It's like right time, right place. Even like obviously you see all the videos and stuff when he was seeing the John Stone thing when he's doing with the shoulder. I don't know if you've seen it when he's like and now she comes over and he's like getting involved and he's stuff. But that's what you want to see, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That's I think that's kind of going out of it. That's experienced manager who knows what he's doing. You get the right. Everyone's saying, "Oh, he should have brought so and so, but he's got a group there that he likes, the right characters, and he
Yeah.
can mold them all together to be a good team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it's all been about with this squad, I think, hasn't it? He's got a lot of flack actually for not taking sort of people like Palmer and Foden and Trent Alexander-Arnold and those sort of guys. And maybe looking back, if we don't win the World Cup, then people will come back to that and think, well, it was messed it up before we even got on the flight because he didn't bring the right players. But and obviously right back's a problem because everyone seems to be injured at right back at the moment, don't they? So
Yeah. Should have bought Trent. I think he should have bought Trent though. I think just because.
Oh, you'd say that?
Yeah. But it's just his quality though, and I think he's different to what you've got. I just think his passion range is just different to anyone else. But if he's seen him as a character, and he maybe, I don't know, he might be thinking, I don't like him amongst the squad. We don't know. Do you know what I mean? But obviously,
I think with Trent especially, I know what you're going to say. You're going to bring Stevie G out of retirement to bring him in the squad next, don't you? Or Dirk Kuyt, wasn't it, as well? You bring him in. But no, I think the thing with Trent was similar story to sort of Foden and Palmer was they had injury sort of hit seasons, didn't they? But in the lead up to this World Cup, and I think that's played a big part. Yes, I know people are thinking, oh yeah, but he took Reece James and he was injured. But Reece James is an elite right back for me. He's the best right back we've got. So, and when fit, he's fantastic, and he can play also central midfield and as well. Yeah, Trent can do the same. But I think that played against Trent, unfortunately, when he was injured a lot at Real Madrid, which is a shame. But I think he would have probably bought him, to be honest, especially with this 26-man squad. It's not like the old days. You only had 23.
Yeah, just bring. I think you got in that big size squad. Like I think you just bring him because you're playing that Quansel at right back, who's a centre half. Let's be honest, miles better all around. So, but obviously then in the quarters, you'd fancy them to beat Norway and.
Should do. Yeah, should do. I mean, you've got to keep Haaland quiet, haven't you? Keep him quiet, you'll probably win, won't you? But have you been watching a lot of the World Cup?
I've been trying to. I think it's been a bit. It's a bit hit and miss. I think obviously there's been some really good games, and then there's been a bit. But obviously, I stayed up for the Mexico game, and I actually thought that was one of the best games I've seen. I actually thought.
I got up I had to go to work on the Monday morning for this job in London I'm on, but I naturally weirdly woke up at 10 to 4, which was quite good. So I checked my phone, saw it was 3-2, and I thought, right, I'll bang it. I watched the sort of the nerve-wracking last 10 minutes, which was quite good. But yeah, it was a great game, and I think the World Cup's kind of almost evolved. I don't like using that term, but it's probably evolved because there was, like you say, some real sort of one-sided rubbish matches, and in the group stage, and then it's all of a sudden it's got to like the last 16 games. They've all been fantastic. I mean, Argentina the other night was amazing, and England match against Mexico was brilliant. And then you had, if you wanted one for the purists, it was probably the Switzerland Colombia game the other night. That was one obviously went to penalties. 0-0. I had 0-0 written all over it from the first kick, really, to be honest with you. But it's been amazing. I'm hoping that the quarterfinals are going to be similar. They should be because there's some really good teams matched up against each other there, and France are obviously still in it, and they're the big entertainers, aren't they? The favourites, so I think they'll do well. Who's your fancy to win it? Do you think it's coming home, or is it going to be going to Paris?
I'm hoping. Obviously, the game's on in a minute, isn't it? I'm hoping Morocco can maybe upset France because I think Morocco are good.
They're a good side, yeah.
I think they could just get them on an off day and they beat them, and then say England. I think.
Yeah, I think the only sort of downside of it is that Salbari's injured. I don't think he's playing, so he's out, and he's obviously scored a lot of their goals at this World Cup, and he's a great player. Got to move to Bayern Munich as well in the summer, so he's a really good player. But he won't be playing, which I think is a massive miss. I think that might get France over the line, to be fair.
Yeah,
and they're going to score France, aren't they? To be fair, they're going to score. So
they've got the best squad. That's what I'm saying. They've got the best squad. I'm just hoping off day, someone like Morocco or whatever, just get them on a bad day, and then obviously if England get, well, I don't know, maybe Morocco. Like I fancy them. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah, absolutely.
Full tilt with they've just got the best squad, haven't they?
I think it's certainly going forward anyway. They're just unbelievable players going forward. And they take one off and bring another unbelievable player on. But there's not a lot of them. If you take Kane out of England, you're going to be a bit stuffed. Don't you? Obviously, Wally Watkins is good, and you've got Ivan Toney, but if you're missing Kane, we're going to be struggling. If they took Mbappe off, yes, they'd miss him, but they've still got Doué or Barcola and Thuram as well, were fantastic. All brilliant players. They could all do a job, definitely.
Yeah.
Talking of off days, actually, as well, like probably the latest friendly we had against Ashford was maybe a bit of an off day. I've heard Spencer's post match. He said it was a bit of a snooze fest. Obviously, we won 1-0, so win's a win. You know what I mean? Didn't play great, but is it all about the minutes, or I think
Yeah.
you played second half, yeah?
Yeah, it's all about the minutes, just getting fit. Obviously, you're on Astro, and to be fair to them, like they had good rotations, and they're playing free, aren't you? It's pre-season. It's no pressure, no expectations. So, and they did beat Farnham as well. So they were all right. Yeah, we was maybe a bit off it. Yeah, first half. But obviously the heat as well, without making excuses. But it's the same for both teams. But maybe second half we've done a little bit better. But as I said, it's literally second week of pre-season. We've probably done like 6K the day before. It's just about building the minutes up, and obviously we've got another tough one Saturday, but probably 30 degrees Saturday again. And do you know what I mean? It's
yeah. You looking forward to playing Reading Saturday? It should be a good game. Should be a decent crowd too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, be nice to get to the home stadium, and I'm sure. I don't know how far they in or whatever, but they're obviously gonna have good talented players. You know what I mean? But obviously, it's just the heat in it. It's just one of this. I think it's going to be 30. I had a quick look before, and it's saying 32, 33 degrees. So you're thinking, is this going to be at walking pace or what? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it might end up being a bit like that second half, I think.
But yeah, I just PCs. You got to manage yourself. You know your body, and you got to know the one goal is. It's all about the first game of the season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, great stuff. All right, Alex, so we're going to wrap it up there. I think we've had. Thanks very much for coming on. It's been really good to catch up with you and learn a little bit about your career. Lots of the highs and lows, really, which is what we like to hear about. And hopefully we see a lot of you in the Farnham shirt this season. And hopefully it's a successful season. I think we've built a really good squad going forward. So hopes are high that we'll do well this season. Thanks very much for coming on.
Appreciate the chat, mate. Anytime. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure. Nice to be. Yeah, don't go away. We'll have a quick chat off air. We'll have a quick chat. Yeah, that's fine. You want to shoot off, Alex? You can. I'll say goodbye, and we'll do all that. Cheers, Alex. Much appreciated. I'll see you Saturday. Take care.
Top man.
Thank you. All the best. Right, that's Alex. Alex Whittle there. He's off, and that leaves me to say thanks very much for watching the episode. Look forward to many more this coming season. Got a few things lined up in the next few weeks. Got another new signing on next week, and we've also got we'll have a preview of the season as well with a few fans with their input as well. So thanks very much again for watching and listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the episode on the All Things Borough YouTube channel. Thanks very much. Take care of yourselves. All the best.